Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to an incredibly somber edition of Driving with Mr. Met. The Metropolitans, after their 8-2 defeat last night at the hands of the Braves, have now lost their last 5 games and 9 of their last 10. This has been an absolutely dreadful streak. It has been a miserable 2 weeks of baseball, and I'm afraid that there's no end in sight, because it just feels as though no matter what happens, the Mets are just not going to win ever again, or so it seems. The worst thing about this stretch of really just awful games has been the inconsistency across the board. I'll just focus on last night's game because it's the freshest. I don't want to talk about the Nationals at all because I just can't. So we'll focus on last night's game. Robert Gsellman once again put the Mets behind the 8 ball after giving up 5 runs in the first inning. And, it was bad enough going into the game that up until like midday yesterday, we thought that Syndergaard and Harvey were pitching this 2-game series. The shortened 2-game series, I should say, against the Braves. And then yesterday, inexplicably, they announced that Gsellman's going to get the start and Syndergaard's going to pitch tonight. Now, as a result, or this afternoon, I should say, as a result. The problem with that is that coming off of what has been an absolutely dismal stretch of play, wouldn't it be in the best interest of the team to put the guy on the mound who is your most dominant? Particularly knowing that you're facing off with a guy who you just frankly can't hit to save your life in Julio Teheran. The guy just owns the Mets. The Mets never hit off of him, and last night was no exception. He gave up 2 runs on sacrifice flies. When Gsellman starts the game with a 5-run first inning, knowing that you're against the insurmountable odds that you're against with Teheran on the mound, it's got to be deflating. And, the starting pitching has been very good. Zach Wheeler has stepped up his game. He's looked really good in his last couple of starts. Harvey's been I think, better than we could have expected. Syndergaard and DeGrom are fantastic. The 5th starter spot, though, with Gsellman, it's just not been there, and there's been no consistency with him. It's been very up and down. And unfortunately, based on the news I read this morning, it doesn't look like there's going to be any help on the way. The news I read about Steven Matz was that he may be back at the end of May. At this point, you know what? I don't even care if he comes back, because I feel like he'll throw 2 games and be hurt again. But that's not going to happen till the end of May at the earliest. The other potential reinforcement was Seth Lugo, and they're still not out of the woods as far as Tommy John is concerned. So we might not see Seth Lugo for another 12 to 18 months, depending on the diagnosis of his arm issues. So the bottom line is, unless we're ready to send out Sean Gilmartin every 5th day, and I will not mention the Montero option because, Montero, Gsellman's got to get his act together. He's got to get his shit together and stop letting up 5 runs in the first inning. The starting pitcher has to keep this team in games, and right now, if they're not, the Mets are going to lose, period, because they're not hitting. And it's up to the starters. And today, Noah Syndergaard's on the mound. For God's sakes, Noah, please, stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. Hopefully nothing's wrong with any other of his fingers today, and Noah's able to pitch deep into this game and get the Mets off of this ridiculous losing streak. I'm done losing. I got nothing else to say for now. Hopefully when we talk again, the Mets will have defeated the Braves today, and it'll be game 1 of what should be, fingers crossed, a winning streak. So good luck today, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and as always, let's go Mets.